Did you know that people who are blind can still see, not metaphorically, literally? They see vivid, moving, colorful images, people, animals, even entire scenes, despite having no functional vision. But these aren't visions from another world. They're hallucinations created by the brain itself. This is the strange and little-known condition known as Charles Bonnet Syndrome, a rare phenomenon where the brain, starved of visual input, starts producing images of its own. It's like dreaming while wide awake. Before we start, if you like us and want to support us, there's a free and simple way to do that. Just hit that subscribe button, so that you never miss out when we put out new videos. We assure you that we will commit to bringing you the best videos each week. We also crave your feedback and suggestions as we aim to give you the best content possible. Now let's dive into one of the most fascinating neurological mysteries you've probably never heard of. Imagine waking up blind one day, the world goes dark, you learn to navigate by sound and touch, but suddenly, a figure appears in the darkness. A face, a full crowd, birds, buildings, floating patterns, entire landscapes. You blink, but nothing changes. It's not your vision returning, your eyes still don't work, but your brain is painting. This is Charles Bonnet Syndrome, named after an 18th century Swiss philosopher and naturalist, Charles Bonnet, who first described it. In 1760, Bonnet noticed something strange about his grandfather. The old man had lost his eyesight due to cataracts, yet he described vivid hallucinations. Men, women, patterns, and architecture appearing out of thin air. Bonnet wrote down these experiences thinking it was a form of vision without sight. Today, we know this is not mental illness, not schizophrenia, not psychosis. These are non-psychiatric visual hallucinations, and they happen in perfectly lucid, aware individuals who happen to have significant vision loss. The hallucinations experienced in Charles Bonnet Syndrome vary wildly, but they often fall into clear categories: simple patterns, geometric shapes, grids, spirals, or checkerboards, complex imagery, faces, people, animals, buildings, vehicles, or entire landscapes, cartoonish scenes, some see animations or dreamlike distortions, repeating figures, a row of marching soldiers, endless buildings, or children playing. In some cases, the hallucinations are so hyper-realistic, it's hard to believe they're not real. One woman saw a horse galloping across her living room, another man saw his entire house transform into a Gothic cathedral, and yet, they all knew they weren't real. That's what makes Charles Bonnet Syndrome so unique. Most people are aware that these visions are hallucinations. They're not delusions. They don't believe the images are real. They're just there. To understand Charles Bonnet Syndrome, we need to look inside the brain. When we see, we don't actually see with our eyes. The eyes are just sensors. The real magic happens in the visual cortex located at the back of the brain. When someone loses vision due to macular degeneration, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, or even complete blindness, the visual input to the brain drops dramatically, but the visual cortex doesn't shut down. It still craves input. So what does it do? It creates its own content, hallucinations. This is a concept called release phenomena. With no incoming signals, the brain releases stored visual memories, or creates new ones, leading to spontaneous imagery. In a way, it's similar to what happens when a limb is amputated and a person feels a phantom limb. The brain doesn't know the input is gone, it just fills in the blanks. So in Charles Bonnet Syndrome, the brain, deprived of vision, starts making its own television channel. You didn't change the signal. The brain just started broadcasting from within. It's more common than you might think. Studies suggest that up to 60% of people who experience severe vision loss will eventually have some form of Charles Bonnet Syndrome. But here's the twist. Many never report it. Why? Because they're afraid people will think they're going crazy. And that's tragic, because Charles Bonnet Syndrome is not a mental illness. It's a neurological response to vision loss. It doesn't mean someone has dementia or schizophrenia. In fact, it's more likely in people who are otherwise cognitively healthy. It affects older adults with age-related eye diseases, stroke survivors who've lost vision, people with eye trauma or optic nerve damage, even young people with sudden visual impairment. And yet, because of the stigma around hallucinations, people suffer in silence. They may be scared to tell their families, or worse, they get misdiagnosed. For some, the hallucinations are beautiful, a burst of color, a dreamlike parade of visions, but for others, it's overwhelming. Imagine trying to focus, and your brain starts projecting patterns all over the walls. You're trying to sleep, and the ceiling becomes a mosaic of spinning flowers. You're talking to someone, and their face suddenly gets replaced by a stranger's. There's no off switch. Episodes can last from a few seconds to several hours. They might happen a few times a week, or dozens of times a day, And although they are visual only, no sounds, no touch, they can still feel intrusive. You may not be able to trust your own eyes. You begin to question, what is real? This can lead to social withdrawal, fear, and even depression. Charles Bonnet Syndrome is still underdiagnosed, but awareness is growing. Doctors now know to look for 3 key signs: visual hallucinations in a visually impaired person, clear awareness that the images aren't real, no signs of psychiatric illness. If someone has these 3 characteristics, they may be diagnosed with Charles Bonnet Syndrome. Ophthalmologists are often the first to hear about it, but neurologists and geriatric specialists also play a role. The real challenge is education. Patients need to know it's safe to talk about these visions, that they're not going mad, that their brain is simply trying to adapt. There's no pill or cure for Charles Bonnet Syndrome yet, but several strategies can help manage it. 1. Reassurance. Just knowing the hallucinations are normal can dramatically reduce anxiety. 2. Stimulation. The brain hallucinates when it's bored. Reading, listening to music, or engaging the other senses can help. 3. Eye movement tricks. Moving the eyes or blinking rapidly can sometimes break the hallucination. 4. Lighting. Well-lit environments reduce contrast and may prevent hallucinations from forming. 5. Improving residual vision. In some cases, eye surgeries or visual aids reduce hallucinations by restoring partial input, and research is ongoing. Some studies are even exploring brain stimulation techniques and neuroplasticity to see if the brain can be retrained. Until then, awareness is the most powerful tool. Charles Bonnet Syndrome teaches us something profound: that the brain is not a passive receiver of the world, it's a creator. When deprived of reality, it makes its own. When cut off from sight, it sees anyway. It reminds us how powerful and mysterious the human mind truly is. And for those who experience Charles Bonnet Syndrome, it's not just a curiosity, it's a daily reality. Some people live their entire lives seeing visions they never asked for. But with education, support, and compassion, we can make sure they never feel alone. So the next time someone tells you they saw something that couldn't be there, pause, because they just might be right. If this blew your mind, imagine how many other secrets your brain is hiding from you. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden side of science and the mind. Hit that bell so you never miss a fact that will change the way you see the world, literally. Until next time, stay curious.